Do you ever feel different? Like maybe you don't quite fit in? Do people laugh at the way you look? Or move? Or talk? Well, join the club, the Diversity Club. In nature, animals come in diverse shapes, and believe it or not, this diversity is a very important part of something called evolution. Evolution has been running life on Earth since the beginning. But it wasn't until 150 years ago that a man named Charles Darwin figured it out. He got the idea here in the Galapagos Islands, located in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of South America. In fact, this arch is called Darwin's Arch in his honor. The islands are famous for their birds, but Darwin noticed that birds of a feather don't always fly together. Many birds of the same species live in different environments, and Darwin observed that they develop unique adaptations to survive there. Darwin called his idea natural selection, but many others call it survival of the fittest. Darwin said that organisms which are best fitted to their environment survive, and those that aren't, don't. Darwin never went underwater, but he thought about it a lot. Had he been able to dive, he would have seen his theory at work here, too. You might think survival of the fittest means that the bullies will always win out. That's partly right. These sharks are so successful that they haven't changed much in hundreds of millions of years. But even among sharks, evolution rewards creativity as well as strength. These white-tip reef sharks aren't as fast as other species, so they can't catch fast-swimming fish. Instead, they nap during the day and feed on sleeping fish at night. Some sharks, the rays, find an advantage in being flat. They lead much of their life on the bottom, where they feed and even mate. Like sharks, this male ray uses claspers to fertilize the female's eggs. You can see the ray's claspers on either side of its tail. And when they swim, their enlarged pectoral fins act as huge wings, allowing them to soar through the water in huge, graceful schools. The seahorse doesn't need to swim much. It hangs onto bits of grass and coral with its tail, like a monkey, and snatches tiny shrimps with its tube-like mouth. And what's even weirder, it's the seahorse dads who get pregnant and have babies. The batfish isn't much of a swimmer either. Instead, it props itself up on its pectoral fins, waiting for a meal to swim by. Penguins are about the weirdest of all, a bird that swims instead of flies. Long ago, the earliest penguins found that if they swam underwater, they wouldn't have to compete with flying birds for food. Over many generations, penguins whose wings were better for swimming got more to eat and survived. Today, this unique adaptation helps all penguins survive where there is more food below the waves than above. The penguin shows that in the end, there's more than one way to be fit for survival, and that's the power of diversity. As long as a creature can find a way to feed and reproduce in its local environment, it can be as weird as it wants. At first, people thought Darwin's idea of evolution was pretty bird-brained, but now scientists recognize it as the law of the land, air, oh yeah, and sea.